Think about where you are right now. Think about what you're doing just right now. Where do you think that you came from? In the universe, there are only two things, really. Things that are made of stars and things that are empty space. So, empty space is pretty easy to get the hang of. It's just negative. It's just not there. It's everything else. But things that are made of stars are everything that exists, everything that's tangible, and energy too. All of it is made of stars because stars are what create the elements. And in a star, over a very, very long amount of time, the elements add up until it gets too hot and the star explodes in a supernova. And it travels across the cosmos, all of those elements in that explosion that it created inside of it. And they end up other places, but it doesn't hurry. It's not in a rush because it knows everything ended up right where it had to be when it had to be there, precisely at the right time and place. It doesn't hurry, but everything is accomplished. That's nature. Now, this is all to say that you are, well, you're a tangible thing. You're made of stars. And so is everything around you. And what made you traveled very far for a very long time to become you. And the earth is made of stars because those elements, they formed together, they became the earth and everything that the earth is, and eventually you came here. The earth is your mother. How do you think you got here? Really? How else could you get here? You can't create or destroy matter. You can only reshape it. So the earth made you out of what it had. And it gave you everything you could need and that it could offer. It gave you everything that you could need and want. And it also gave you room to roam and wander and take what you want, because it knows how precious desire is. It knows in the same way that we know. The world and the universe are conscious because they have consciousness within them. You are part of the earth and the universe, the greater cosmos. It has consciousness collectively, passively, because we are the active consciousness. If the universe is all things and we are things, then, well, our consciousness belongs to the universe. Therefore, it knows, it thinks, it does, it loves, it cries. Of course it does, because things within it do. And the earth, it loves in ways that we can't comprehend because it loves passively. It loves you by giving you the food that you can eat, places that you can explore, animals animals to share your life with, and other people to share your life with. They're all made of the earth. And when we die, we go back into the earth. And she takes back everything that she made us with and gives it back up to everything else. We go into the earth and she welcomes us back, and our energy goes into the soil and into the grass and into everything that eats the grass and everything that eats those things, and so on and so forth. And your energy is evenly dispersed over and over again. It isn't just passed from one thing to another. I, for one, would like to believe that the divinity of this universe comes from within and pours out, not from an outside source pouring in on top of us, for us. The earth, it is divine in the same way that we are divine. We make it, and it makes us. Slow down. Where do you have to be? How do you think you got here? Seriously. Where else do you need to be other than right here, right now? Think about the word need. What better time and place is there for the admiration of the universe and of yourself than right here and right now? When you think about it, the past and the future don't exist. Only the ever-changing present. We have memories and we have assumptions. And to a certain light, our assumptions can be so definitively correct that we can call it the future with almost absolute certainty. But those are just very correct assumptions. What do you have to do tomorrow? Think about that. What do you have to do tomorrow? Well, how are you going to start doing that? What happens if that first step is taken out of the equation? Well, then your future today, right, your future would have been disrupted. So it isn't concrete, it's ever-changing. You can't solidify a future because it doesn't exist. And the same thing is with the past. We have memories as ways to defend us from harm in the future, right? The future. In the present, mainly. If something harmful that you've already encountered comes up, you know it's harmful. You know better, at least, how to defend from it this time. Right? But if you're so caught up in whatever that was, well, what good is that doing you for how to defeat it when it comes up? If it ever comes back up. But it's better to be prepared. Think about who everyone that you know is. Do you think they think like you do? Like I do? No, of course not. Well, maybe they think similarly, but they've all had enough memories to build them up to who they are today, to mold their thoughts into who they are now. Here's the thing about the people you know and your friends. There's a natural law, and a natural law is anything that occurs on its own, but it is a force that cannot be broken no matter what you do. There's a natural law known as the law of association. Humans are mirrors, just big mirrors, and we reflect the light that the people that we surround ourselves with put into us. Now, the law of association states that the 5 people that you surround yourself with most are the 5 people that you are. You are the byproduct of those 5 people and their influences. Those are your spheres of influence. Who do you know? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Are you proud of the people that you surround yourself with? Or are you just surrounding yourself with them because, well, that's who you are, and that's who they are, and that's who you are, and that's who they are. And it becomes a cycle of, well, they support my bad behaviors. Makes me feel a little less bad about having bad behaviors. That's no way to grow. Of course, the earth would give you this freedom anyways. It gives you just as much the freedom to decay as it does to grow. Because it loves you and understands that it cannot control you. Because it is you. Who do you know? Who do you admire? Get around those people. Who do you get around and think, wow, that guy or that girl thinks really sharp. They think really, really brightly. I like that. Get around them. Tell them that you admire the way that they think. I'm sure they would love to hear it. They're humans too. Everybody needs reassurance. So think about who you surround yourself with in your day-to-day life. Are you taking advice on how to grow a tree from somebody who's lived in a desert for their whole life? Or are you going to go and learn from the guy who's lived on the orchard? Seeds. Seeds are the most poetic thing in the universe. To me, at least. For now, at least. A seed has so much power. So many options. You put a seed in the ground, and you can forget about it, and it does absolutely nothing. Because you've forgotten about it. It doesn't know how to do anything else. But the seed, right? Think about what you want to plant in yourself. Put that seed in there. Think about the fact that it needs time. Even if you forget about it, time can do anything, right? If you leave a seed in the soil, if the soil is already fertile, right? And that's the best thing you can do for yourself, by the way, is make your mind fertile soil. Let anything, be willing for anything to enter and grow, right? Now, if you plant that seed and you forget about it, maybe the rain will come at just the right day and the sun will shine in just the right spot and you've forgotten about it and it's a tree and it grows and it feeds you. And you've forgotten about it. Those are good seeds too. Some seeds you forget about and they die. But the best that you can do now, think about what you want to plant in yourself. Plant that seed and know that it's going to take time. But nurture it. Water thoughts of that seed. Give it light. And give it time. And it will grow. And grow. And eventually, before you know it, it's going to be the tree that you want. It has to go through a lot of pressure underground in order to break through that soil. It doesn't even know what direction it's going in. But it's fighting and it pushes and nobody's even watching. And all those other rotten seeds you planted in the same batch with it, this is the one that's going to make it because it's fighting. And it knows that in the dark is the best place to shine. It's true, it's dark because it wants you to shine. And it fights through the pressure and it relocates that pressure behind it to give it the boost it needs, and it breaks through the earth. And it's just a little baby tree. You might be thinking, oh, well, it's a wimpy little tree. Look at all these other fully grown trees that are already here. Well, yeah, those all did it. They did exactly what that seed did, but you didn't see it that time. You saw it this time, though, because this was your seed. And now you know how great it feels, even just to have a little wimpy baby tree that can't produce any fruit yet. You know that in order to fix the fruit of the tree, you have to fix the root of the tree. So your little wimpy baby tree, you're still watering it, even though you know success is imminent. You're still watering it, letting it get lots of light. You're still taking care of that wimpy baby tree, and you're still giving it time to grow and change. It's evolving. And before long, it has its first leaf. And it's making little buds for flowers. And before long, it has its first fruit. And you take it off because you're excited. And it's bitter. It's so bitter. It's disgusting. How could anyone eat that? Well, it hasn't had enough time to grow. The first try. Give it time. So you give it a few more years. Yes, it's pumping out fruit every year now. It's tough, it's fighting the winter. And it can feed you, but it still tastes kind of bitter. Well, are you going to forget about it now when you can look at it and you can see that it's doing what it needs to do, but it's still producing bitter fruit? Well, what can be done? Just keep nurturing it, giving it water and light. Because eventually those bitter fruits are going to start in its, more adult life of a tree. They're going to start to taste a little less bitter and a little more sweet as you let them mature, and you realize, a little bit of brown on that fruit is healthy. It shows it's aged. It knows what it's doing, right? It knows what it's doing. And why wouldn't it? It's been through hundreds of other fruits before. As it lets this one hang out, well, it just gets more of that water and more of that sun, and it grows. You got that nice, juicy, delicious fruit, and it's feeding everyone. It's feeding everything. That seed you planted inside of yourself, that trait that grew, it's feeding you and your family and your friends and the people that you're reflecting your light on too, because you are somebody else's sphere of influence. It is so important to understand the network of energy that is the universe. Take it down a notch. The earth, take it down a notch. Human beings. Oh, I can't, it's still too much. Take it down a notch. Think about a seed. It's elementary. You plant it, you take care of it, it grows. It's so simple on paper, but we lose it in practice. Because we think, oh, I can't see immediate results, that means it'll never work. Somebody else already has this fully grown tree, mine will never be as good as their tree. Well, bear in mind, and as technology evolves, it is very easy for someone to Photoshop in a very nice tree over their weak little wimpy tree, or their seeds that haven't sprouted yet. If it's a tree you haven't seen before, how can you know that it's theirs? Maybe their seeds never grew because they just left them to die and rot, and they went and took a picture with someone else's tree or someone else's fruit. They don't have any fruit of their own, but they're very willing to give you fruit from somebody else when they don't even know how to grow a tree. Who do you know? Are you hanging around the guy in the desert or the orchard? Who do you know? The earth, everything is about perspective. Love, hate, sadness, happiness, they're all emotions that the universe feels because within it they're felt, right? You break things down, it becomes so much simpler and you just build it back up to that big scale, right? So because we feel things, we're part of the universe, then the universe has feelings, passive feelings through us. It isn't actively happy or sad right now. It can never be one emotion because we can never all agree with each other. There are simply too many of us. So it feels things like love and hate, happiness and sadness and being broken. It feels those things. It knows. But it also understands that something broken has just provided you with so many more bricks to build out of. Make something newer and stronger. Every emotion in the universe, two sides of the same thing, feeling. That word feeling, so different from thought. I feel. I feel. That's an emotion. They're so different from conscious thoughts. You have feelings, but you need to know how to guide them. Are you letting your emotions drive you? Are you just a passenger? Navigate your feelings. Speak their language. Love and hate is just passion. But why are you aiming it where you're aiming it? Their passion. Heat. Energy. The universe is willing to give you a hard lesson. Tough love. Because it knows that those are the only lessons worth learning that you need to learn. You need to learn those lessons to grow. In order to grow, you need those lessons. And if you don't want to grow, it's okay. You have time. You can sit still where you are until you're ready. And the universe will be ready to give you those lessons, but you have to be ready to take them. Be a student of the universe and a student of who you are. If you look up at a popcorn ceiling, how many of those little dots and, those little, call them freckles, I guess, or little popcorns, how many of them do you think there are? It must be uncountable. Look up at the night sky on a nice night where there's no light pollution. Go as far away from a city as you can get. Look up at the sky. How many stars do you see? Those are all stars or planets or comets, asteroids, so many different things, moons maybe. The universe is always ready to tell you something when you are ready to listen. But it does not force anything because it knows it doesn't have to hurry in order to accomplish its goal. It knows that the exact time and place that you tune in for a lesson is the perfect time and place for a lesson. And it knows that when you're hurt and vulnerable and scared, it's so much more comforting to be told. It'll sort itself out. It'll be okay. You just sit right where you are and things will fix themselves. It's so much easier to be told that. But it's so much more disappointing when you realize that nothing is going to build itself. You need to be told that you have the power to be the architect of your emotions and your life. And you can start building something stronger, right? A castle that builds walls to keep its own soldiers out is a poor castle. Now, that is to say, the soldiers are willing to fight for you and defend the castle, defend the royal family inside, the king and the queen, right? You. They're willing to defend you and fight for you. So why are you building walls to keep them out? Who do you know? Keep them in your walls. Don't you love them and want to keep them safe too? They are much safer when they are vulnerable with you and you're vulnerable with them. Anger and petty emotions like that, they come up as defense mechanisms because society has bred us to feel that. Well, first you feel afraid, and then you feel angry because you're afraid. Because it's so much easier to feel angry. It's so much easier to say, man, I'm mad, than to say, I am terrified. I'm scared, I don't know what's going on. It's so much easier to say, I'm stressed out, or I'm mad, or someone has wronged me, than it is to say, I'm scared, and I'm afraid, and I'm alone, and I'm vulnerable, and I've wronged me, and I've wronged someone else. But ignoring the way that you feel won't make it go away. It'll only, well, it'll stay there. There's nothing else for it to do. It doesn't have consciousness. It's just your feelings. It's okay to feel fear. Feel fear. Be afraid. The world can be scary. It wants you to know how scary it can be, so you know how strong that you can be. It wants you to know how dark it can be, so that you can know when it's time to shine. It's not always time to shine. Sometimes you can just chill in the dark. You don't need to see. You can just listen to whatever's around you. It's not time to shine. It's time to listen. Time to breathe. But sometimes it is time to shine, like when you're moving forward and you need to see where you're going. Light up and look where you're headed. Don't just close your eyes and hope you land somewhere good. Navigate yourself to somewhere nice, somewhere that you want to be. When you're driving, you have somewhere to be. You have somewhere where you started, somewhere to be, right? When you're taking this journey, when you know where you're going and you're so excited, right? Think about you're going on a vacation. It's your favorite place in the world and you get to go there, right? And for the sake of this example, we're going to say that you can drive there. And you're driving. And it's so awesome to think about, oh, I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. And the road's blocked. Oh no. Well, you could sit there and wait for the road to be unblocked. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe. Or you could turn around and go home. Or you could pop your blinker on, take a righty, take another lefty, and be on your way. Find a way around the obstacle. When the destination is worth being at, you find a way. You will find a way. You need to know that you'll find a way. That you can find a way. The most important thing that you can have is a purpose, and you're the one who gets to choose that. What do you crave? What would you fight for but live for? Don't tell me what you'd die for. If you died on the road before you got to your destination, well, you never got there. I don't care about what you die for. What would you live for? What do you live for? What do you cry for? What do you so desperately ache for? That is what makes you. You need to cling on to that. We live in a society that wants to claw it away because it seems hard to reach. It is hard to reach. That doesn't mean that you can't reach or you shouldn't reach for it. You can get it. You just have to be willing to find a way. 1,000 fish swimming downstream towards a waterfall that leads into a pit of bears have no idea that they're headed in the wrong direction. But one fish, who's maybe gotten a little too close to that waterfall before, he's seen those bears. He said, I don't want to be there. He said, I don't care what anyone else thinks, I don't want to be there. He starts swimming upstream. Everyone's saying, you're crazy, we're all going this way, we're all going this way, why don't you come this way? He's saying, I'm not going that way, I'm going my way. And they're going to say, well, you're stupid, you're crazy, you're this, you're that. Because they're all hive-minded. They're thinking, well, everyone else is going this way, so I should be going this way. They don't know what lies at the end. They can't see 2 feet in front of them. They can't see those bears. But that one fish, he keeps swimming upstream and upstream and upstream and upstream. And it gets really tough. But eventually, he finds a few people willing to swim with him, who are willing to believe him, that they think, oh, whoa, you say there are bears that way? All right, I don't want to go that way. I have common sense. I don't want to go that way. I'm okay with being a maverick and being independent, fiercely loyal to yourself. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with swimming with someone like that. Let's do it. Let's go somewhere else. Who cares what other people are doing, where they're swimming, or what they say? Let's go upstream. Yeah, let's do it. So they swim upstream. And they're the ones that find the oasis. Everyone was swimming away from it because they didn't know it was there. Streams always flow downhill from a source to a larger body. And that source is usually the spring. It's this beautiful thing. And those fish that swam upstream, they found it. They went against the grain. They weren't afraid to feel a little bit of resistance. God. Have a backbone. Resistance doesn't mean anything when you have a backbone. People fear a little bit of grit and resistance. If you're not being questioned, you're doing the wrong thing. You're being stupid. You need to know without a shadow of a doubt who you are, what you're worth, where you're going. Those are the three most important things to know. I hope that you know that and that you can answer them. You can answer them maybe just one at a time. Maybe you can't answer one now, but you can answer two. Maybe when you can answer that one, you can't answer another one because things have changed and you don't really know anymore. It's okay. Give yourself time. The seed will grow. Just keep taking care of yourself. Hang in there. Where do you gotta be? Other than right here and right now, where do you have to be? You are wonderful. So wonderful. I mean, come on, you're made of stars. And look at you, you're glowing. All things deserve the right to know who they are, what they're worth, and where they're going. And I would say that if you can't answer them right now, work on it. Start thinking about those questions. Who am I? Who am I? It seems so simple. Who am I? Well, I'm so-and-so. I do this. But are you worth what your job pays you? No, don't quit your job. You probably need it to survive a bit longer. But just know there's so much more value. Once you're aware of that value, you stop settling. Be bold. You become bold when you know what you're worth. Because you know that anyone who doesn't see it is the one that's missing out. When you know who you are, what you're worth, and where you're going, anyone who isn't willing to swim upstream with you, well, that's a statement on them, not on you. They are the ones without the vision. And it can get so lonely when you think about it. Being a maverick, well, that's being single minded, but not closed minded. Just being yourself in the masses. And nobody thinks they're in the masses when they're in the masses. But it can get lonely. No, it can't. Loneliness comes when you don't have a sense of who you are. I am good company to myself, and I hope that you are too, for you. When you know who you are good company. Hopefully. I hope you're comfortable with you. That's why everyone should meditate. Meditation is not emptying your mind, it's clearing your mind, right? It's not wiping it clear. It's being able to see clearly through it, navigating it. It's not empty mindedness, it's full mindedness, but you can just find your way through it clearly. It's spending enough time with yourself that you know who he or she is and you're comfortable with them and you're best friends. And then loneliness erases itself because you have a sense of self. You know who you are. You know what you're worth when you think about, who do I allow to pour value into me? Who are my spheres of influence? Are they who I want to be? You learn what you are worth by seeing what other people are worth and deciding that they have what you want. It's okay. You desire, own it, or it'll own you. Own your desires. Recognize that you want what they have and sit at their feet and listen to what they have to say and take notes. Because by recognizing what they are worth, when they pour into you, you become worth so much more. And you know that you're surrounding yourself with people or worth this much. That means that you are a peer to those people. You're a peer with them. You're peers. Equals. Equal in value. Now you know who you are, and now you know what you're worth. Where are you going? That's the exciting part. What do you crave? Where do you want to be more than anything else? What's your end goal? What do you work for? What brings you so much joy that you can't wait to see it again? It can be so simple as a child or a lover or a parent, but don't just make it a person. Make it family. Make it music. Make it travel, wanderlust. What a beautiful thing. Make it anything. Don't attach it to a person, because then it's not your responsibility, then it's their responsibility. And then if they decide that they don't have the value that matches up to you and they want to leave, well, now you're hurt because you attached it to an individual as opposed to an idea. Ideas you can hang on to. You can hang on to them forever and ever and keep shooting for them. But if a person tells you that they don't want you and they want to walk away, you gotta respect that. So then what? You're gonna let your dreams walk away with that person? That person isn't your dreams. You have bigger dreams than that. I hope so, at least. You should be an individual, and you should find another individual to go through life with. That should be romance. It's two people interdependent, not independent, not dependent. They're walking through life together, like a buddy system. If you're at the zoo and your buddy wants to see the rhinos, but you want to see the lions, well, how much time do you have? How far are the lions from the rhinos? We can make this work. We can see the rhinos and the lions. Because you're my buddy. We want to make sure that you're getting what you want and I'm getting what I want. So a person, although we love having a person to walk along a journey with, the journey and the destination do not rely on the person at all. Now, you know who you are, what you're worth, and where you're going. Nothing can take it away from you. Even if someone steps onto your path for just a little while and they're amazing, and you wish they could stay longer, but they can't. Well, you keep walking your path. Wave them goodbye, blow them a kiss if you have to, and say, I hope I see you again. But don't worry, you're going down your path because you know who you are, what you're worth, and you know where you're going, and you're so excited to get there, but the road's blocked. Well, what do? Well, you're already a fair amount down your path. You might as well keep going, but you can't climb over this obstacle. It's a little too big. Or if the bridge is out, you can't just jump or else you're going to fall and die, and well, that's tragic. So what are you going to do? Well, find a way. You can see the finish line. That means that there's a way to get there. Find the way to get there. When you are so confident and sure of who you are and how much that you are worth and where you're headed, you will sync up with similar-minded people. It's inevitable. It's a law of nature. Wavelengths, they bleed into each other and they synchronize. And when you're around people, you will join wavelengths. And they'll join in your journey. But bear in mind that they also have spheres of influence that are outside of you, and that could tear them away from you, and it's okay. Maybe they'll come back, right? If they have any sense about them. Who'd want to miss out on you, right? Don't let it go to your head. It's okay. Let them do their thing. You got yours. Now eventually, someone will sync up so strongly. It's like, wow, I've known you forever, but I haven't. I just know you so well, and I love you, and I want to spend the rest of this journey with you, and I'm excited to, but I know who I am, and you know who you are, and we both know that we're going through life together, not because of one another. You're not dragging me, I'm not dragging you, but we agree that if one of us gets tired, well, we'll both lay down and rest. It's much easier to travel together than it is to travel separately. It's nicer to sleep when someone's watching your back. It's okay. We all yearn for love. It's natural. But you shouldn't be seeking love as an idea or a person. Seek yourself, and the rest unfolds before you, and you have the vision. You can see, and they step onto your path at the right time and the right place. Because the universe has a plan. Not actively. No. It doesn't have a script for you. It just knows what it's doing. Just knows what it's doing. It knows you're going to run into each other. Naturally. And the sparks will be there. And it's going to be amazing. And you are going to be so excited and blessed and grateful that you ran into them right when you did, right how you did, right where you did. But the universe didn't hurry. And I hope that you're not hurrying either. Because where else do you have to be other than right here and right now? Everything falls into place when you have a sense of self. Everything. When you know that you are meant to be here because the earth created you and you're an organism. You're part of the earth. You are the earth and the earth is you. And you know that when you are gone, you go back to the earth. It's poetic. And it might not be as easy to accept as having your consciousness go somewhere else. But we are so much more than just consciousness. Right? An arm is much more than just a hand. Okay? A leg is much more than just a foot. I am much more than just my consciousness. My body is not just a temporary vessel, it's who I am. And I cherish it. And you should cherish your body. The earth gave it to you. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. You look so stunning. Seriously. You need to know that the divinity of you is inside. It wasn't poured in from outside. It came from inside and it goes out into the universe, and that is how the universe is divine, through us, because of us, in the same way that the universe is always a passive thing. It isn't actively divine. It isn't giving us divinity. We make it. We are the divinity. And we bleed it out. And it goes everywhere around us, and it's our energy. It's the crowns that we see when we look in the mirror. That royal blood that pumps through your veins. Yes, you are a child of the universe. And the father, too. Or mother. You're everything. Everything. Because you're you. You're part of everything. That should make you feel at home. I, for one, am comfortable knowing that when I die, who I am is going to go out back into the earth that created me. I'm so grateful for. And I'm going to give back everything that Mama Earth gave me. So take it back and use it for everything else. And she will. Oh, she will. For me personally, when I die, I'm willing to be cremated if I have to, but I don't want a coffin. I'd rather just have my body be buried underground and have a tree planted over me. So I can become that tree. I can have fruit and feed so many forms of life that need it. And just keep living as a tree, feeding everyone. Everyone's willing to reach for it, reach for that fruit. I'm more than willing to feed. More than willing. You belong. You can leave it at that. But you belong where you are, when you are, how you are. I hope that you are reflecting on some decisions that you've made, that you're going to make, that you're still making right now. Like deciding to still be with someone who maybe doesn't treat you so good, or deciding maybe I need to stop drinking, deciding this, that, whatever it may be. I hope that you know now what you're worth, and desire is the key. I really hope that you understand that you are loved by the universe in ways that it has no way to explain to you, other than just giving it to you unconditionally. I love you, and I don't even know who you are. You don't even know who I am, unless you do. But it doesn't matter, because I don't know who you are. And I love you nonetheless. Because I love the universe, and I love me. I am the universe. Keep the soil of your mind fertile. Plant seeds. Be willing to swim upstream. Make tough decisions. Oh, it's so hard. I know how hard it is. You're looking them right in the eye and you want to say it, but you can't because you know it's going to hurt them and it's going to hurt you, but you know you have to say it, so you don't say it. when you back away, and maybe it ends naturally, and you know, well, I should have said that, I'll say it next time. And next time comes, and you're right there, you're looking him in the eyes, and you know you gotta say it, and you want to say it, but you can't say it, and you don't, and it ends naturally. And okay, next time I'll get him. Have some integrity. It is the most rare trait in today's society. Integrity. Truth to oneself. Honesty. Accountability. Integrity. If you need to say something to someone, say it. Let them know that I feel this way. But I also feel this way. Be in touch. Exercise discretion. Know who you are. Think. Feel. Say, I feel this way. I feel this way. But I've thought about it. And I know who I am, and I know how I'm feeling. And I know that it'll pass. Or I know that this is what's best. Or I know that it won't pass. Well, then I hope you can get comfortable. I feel so comfortable knowing that the earth is my home, my mother. And it's where I'll be forever. And that I'm made of a star that died so long ago, unimaginably long ago, just to become me and you and everything else. I hope that you know that you are not ever, ever alone. And I hope that you know that I love you. Sincerely, a stranger.